Have you ever gotten bored and then completely changed the plan and realized, oh, I didn't need to do anything different. I just needed to be patient.
Yes.
Well, okay, podcast over.
I'm terrible at being patient. I am a very impatient person.
And that's about all we have patience for today. So thanks for listening to Let's Quit Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.
I have a little bit more patience than that. Not much, but a little bit.
All right, roll the intro. Welcome to the Let's Quit Podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together. Cool. What's up? You know what it is. It's the Let's Quit Podcast. Thanks for listening. And let's just dive right in. Weekly update. What have we been up to?
So we've definitely been working on those custom walnut consoles some more. So one is like a record player cabinet and one is a TV console. So those have been fun. They're like mid-century modern style, something we haven't done a whole lot of.
It's been a long time since we've made some custom furniture. And I don't know if we talked about this in the last episode, but like, man, I don't feel rusty. It's just the way you have to think about the order of operations and the way, and of course my mind's going crazy just shuffling tools around in the shop. It's just I'm so thankful to have the shop and all the tools in the shop. It's just getting to be...
It's packed in there.
Now that I'm aware that half my time is spent shuffling things around, it just makes my blood boil every time I have to do it.
Yeah, because you're just so frustrated that you have to move a piece of plywood around 3 times before you can like finish anything.
Well, it's not just moving a piece of plywood around. In order to move the plywood from one side of the shop to the other, I've got to move the tools out of the way, pick the plywood up, carry it to somewhere I can set it down, move all the tools back, and then get the table ready, and then pick the plywood up a second time to put it on the table that I need. And then I've got to go get all the track saw and everything else that I need for whatever operation I'm about to do.
And there aren't many places in a small shop to set an entire sheet of plywood.
No, there's
not.
Like,
let me just pick it up and move it over here. Now over here, there's really only like 2 spots we have room to set an entire sheet of plywood down.
Yeah, and when the cabinets are done. Spoiler alert, they're finished. But when we were spraying them, like I had to take half of one cabinet into the house because I didn't have enough room to lay everything out to spray finish on it. So and then I'm getting overspray on the joiner, and I've got to like sand the bed down of that, and just otherwise I got to cover it in paper. It's a tiny shop, and we're asking way too much of it, and we're so thankful that we've been able to do that. It's just that doesn't make it any easier.
Right, because if we would have had to build like a batch of cutting boards at the same time as we built this furniture, I don't know that we would have been able to do it.
No way. Absolutely no way. Well, and the idea is that we were going to take 1 week a month to make cutting boards and charcuterie boards, and then the rest of the month would be spent doing custom furniture so that the two would never have to cross paths.
Yeah, right.
But we're to the point where that's basically what we're doing.
They almost had to cross paths this week. It came pretty close.
It's been 2 months since we've made cutting boards, but I'm about to make another batch next week, and then it's just we're rolling. We're doing what we said we'd be doing. So I'm glad that we've worked up to that point, but we definitely need some more room. So we've been browsing around online looking for spaces. Again, like we are looking for such a specific commercial space because we're looking for something that's big enough but not too big. It's at the right price that also has more office space than most commercial warehouses need.
We're just special little snowflakes.
We are special little snowflakes. We put a poll out on YouTube the other day. It made me think of that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
No hate on any of you if you did this. It was just kind of funny. Like we were trying to gauge how much of our audience was woodworkers, business people, or just casual viewers, people that don't woodwork, don't run a business, that just like watching the videos. We wanted to know what percentage of our audience was that, or core audience. Mm-hmm. And people just would not pick one. They were
We
like,
give them like 4 options.
I'm gonna be really derogatory and mean. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm making fun. Okay, we're having fun here, so have fun with us. Don't get upset. But it was like every special snowflake in the comments is like, well, technically, I'm all 3 because I like all of these things, and then another guy was like, we need a 4th option because I'm halfway to a business, but I'm just making stuff right now.
And somebody else is like, I think I would need my own section because I've sold 2 cutting boards, but I don't know if that necessarily counts as a business. But I also like watching people make things. And we're like,
just pick one. Just pick one.
That means you're B. Click B.
It was, yeah, it was just so funny. And we probably could have communicated it better. Like, please just pick one. We're trying to see, but I thought God forbid, I asked, I said, pick the one that best describes you. But nobody wants to be described. Nobody wants to be nobody puts baby in a corner.
Right.
Nobody wants to be put in a bucket or generalized or anyway.
Nobody wants
we don't
to be
like it either.
Put in a woodworking corner.
I'm making fun of myself too. So anyway, that's basically what was going on there. With the poll, that if you saw it on YouTube, that's what we were asking for, because like we've said, we want to transition most of our audience away from tight-fisted old white men and towards the younger generations of people just watching and being entertained and hopefully inspired to build some stuff and start a business of their own. So just trying to gauge where we're at right now, and we'll continue to gauge as the years go on to how well we've done of translating the audience. Again, content's not going anywhere. It's still going to be the same stuff. We're just trying to skew to a younger audience. So we've been doing that. Been looking at commercial spaces. That's what I was talking about before I got bored and changed the subject. Man, I'm killing it today. Commercial spaces. Yeah, just looking at places because we need more office space because we got the media business and we've got the woodworking business, and they both need to share the same space at the beginning.
They both need to get the heck out of the house.
Right, because that is what is driving us nuts.
Yes.
So, just been, I don't know, just looking at different places and haven't toured any yet. Just looking online, seeing what we want to go tour. Working with a friend. Actually, the friend that we made the furniture for is going to be our broker. So it's been fun.
Lots of good connections. So.
Yeah. We also sold some boards.
Yeah, we've just been chugging along, selling board orders like usual. That means, obviously more fulfillments, which has been kind of nice because then I can double it as like social media content. So I feel like I really got my fill of TikToks and Instagram reels and pictures and everything this last week because we've had more fulfillments than we've had in the past.
It's also been a couple weeks that we've put out 2 videos a week on YouTube.
Yeah, that too.
That's going okay. I mean, it's hard because it's hard to gauge because it was 2 videos that didn't perform as well as, I don't know, a couple months ago we had a streak when we got the new planer. It was in that series of videos. We were just unstoppable. Every video was getting 30, 40,000 views. I don't know, we were just doing really well. And now we're going through a dry spell. And I don't know, it's just kind of discouraging.
It just happens.
I'm letting the numbers get to me. Well, here's what's happening, and I've talked about this before. We're depending on the money now because we're looking at renting a commercial space, and I'm just getting scared every time I see the numbers dip a little bit. I'm like, are we going to have enough money? But we're fine. So I'm just being a little baby. So I need to quit doing that.
But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's just YouTube getting used to it too. Like we have been posting 1 video a week for a very long time, and they're like, well, that's what you do. Now we're changing it up, and every time you make a big change on YouTube, it comes with some sort of consequence. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Yeah. Just they don't like too much change. It takes them a while to get used to it.
Well, the biggest thing and if you want to support your local content creator, this is the best thing you can do is to hit that share button. I think we've talked about this before. I think the share button holds more weight than any other action, but more than liking, more than commenting, more than, I don't know, maybe watching the whole thing through and then maybe watching another video, staying on the platform. Because if you leave, we know this by our like StudStack link. When we do a StudStack pitch and we put a hyperlink in that description, video always does poorly because so many people click that link and they disappear from the video. And YouTube's like, why am I going to show this video to more people if they leave the app after watching the video?
Right. So your job is to keep them here on the app.
Right. So we might experiment and try to like push more people to watch other videos, which is the whole reason that we started the Maker's Money series on YouTube. All of our little like tips and tricks on how to run a business. And I don't know, we're just taking we're dressing up a lot of the lessons we teach from our paid programs. Obviously, there's not near as much in those videos as there is
we
in
don't
our
go as in
programs.
depth,
but it's candy, right? So it's
Yeah.
YouTube. Like, people don't want the information on YouTube. They want candy. They want to be entertained. So we try to share that little nuggets of that information in a more entertaining way.
And it's a really good place to go back and reference. Like, hey, if you have questions on pricing, we have a pricing video. It's very easy to point to like all of the basics.
Right. So hopefully we can start to generate more views because we're sending people on a rabbit hole of watching videos on YouTube, which is the whole point of YouTube. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's YouTube's thing. So call them, not us.
Yes.
We're just trying to make a buck here. We're trying to make a living.
Yes. Help people and, make money.
But yeah, so it's been a couple weeks that we've done 2 videos. We didn't put out a video yesterday. If you're listening to this on the day the podcast comes out, we didn't put a video up on Monday just because we're tired. We got back from my parents late last night. We went and visited them. Had a great time.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen.
Just tired. We've been burning the candle at both ends. I feel like the last couple of weeks.
But now we're posting twice a week. So like the last video we posted was Thursday. So we technically have until this Thursday to put out a video before we break our own arbitrary rule of posting once a week at least. So I think we'll be okay. It's just we need to take a break.
Yeah.
It was nice to see my family. It's been a while. But not as long as your family, though. Well, you just saw him at the wedding.
Yeah, I saw him at the wedding.
I didn't. So, sighting in the deer rifles.
Yeah, getting ready for deer season.
Yep. So that was one of the things we did with my parents. But
got that all straightened out, and we're pretty much ready to just pack up and go once we get closer to, November timeframe. Yeah,
so that'll be exciting, and spend some time up there, see your family, and go deer hunting, the whole bit. That's really all we've been up to.
I feel like anything else we've been up to is just like super boring stuff. Like we updated.
This sounds like the perfect podcast to talk about it.
Yes, exactly. Quit getting bored.
We have been. Let's talk a little bit about that before we get into the title topic. Man, so the way Jennie and I are wired, and we know there are 2 ways your brain can be wired. You can either be wired to constantly force yourself to see new things, or you're wired to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Now, the trick is that we all think we're the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. So we Jennie and I would always say, "Oh, we love routine. We love schedules." No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We don't stick to them. If you actually track us with a stopwatch, we do not keep track of. Or we do not do the same thing over and over and over, despite what we say that we do. We talk about schedules. We do this in the podcast. We talk about schedules and routines and calendars and all sorts of stuff. We hate doing it. We hate following it.
We do it. We just don't enjoy it.
Correct. Like we say that we do. And then
I don't think we ever claim to enjoy it.
Well, yeah, but then the opposite is true too. So if you think, oh, I love adventure, I think of all the moms on Facebook. I'm not talking about my mom, but like just that generalization. People love to be generalized, right? But like all the moms on Facebook of just like they've been a teacher for 35 years and they take one vacation to Germany and they think travel. I love traveling. Their profile picture is them on top of a mountain in a sundress and they're like, I love doing free-spirited things, but yet they're the most uptight, like. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know
those
exactly
type of people.
You're saying.
So I'm not thinking of anyone in specific.
Because like if you were actually like a very like free-spirited person who loved travel, like that's not what I feel like. That's not what your profile is going to necessarily
your profile picture would be
like.
You reading a book, sitting in a quiet corner, being like, I'm very thoughtful. It's like, no, you are a dumpster fire running from one thing to the next to the next to the next.
Because you always want to advertise what you don't have because you're proud of yourself when you do the things that you're not naturally good at.
We see this with realtors a lot too. Yes. The realtors. So it's kind of funny. Your Instagram, your profile picture on Instagram, if you are professional businessman or businesswoman, I guarantee you are an absolute mess in your personal life. You don't schedule anything. You don't call people back. It's like herding cats to try and sell them something. But the person that's like standing on top of a mountaintop or doing something adventurous, they're the most organized, strategic. It's very easy to sell to them because they understand what we're doing. It's just so funny to see how backwards most people see themselves or want to be portrayed.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's because your brain is like trying to cover up your own weaknesses.
Right.
Nobody you don't want to show anybody your weakness, so you compensate for it by
and kind of peacock
flexing the other way.
else.
Anyway, say all that to say, Jenny and I are incredibly bored because we're the type of people that run from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing.
Yeah, we always want new. What's the new thing we can do? What's a new idea?
It has been the hardest thing we've ever done to post once a week on YouTube and to build and develop a single product and only sell that product with the cutting boards and charcuterie boards.
And just to do it over and over and over and over
We
again.
haven't even done it that long. This is how crazy we are. We haven't even done it for a full year and we're already bored of it.
Right.
We're making money with it. We're about to move into a commercial
Right.
space. We're selling.
It's
we're making
working.
connections. We're meeting people all over the city. Yet we're still bored of it. It's just crazy. I hate that my brain does that. It's
right.
just like,
and we have to stop. And this will be more in the action steps of like how we actually like solve this, or how we not even solve,
pull
but
out
just,
of it.
Yeah. Pull out of it so we can, have some persistence every once in a while. But it's like, I don't know. We just have to keep telling ourselves that it's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. Yeah. Don't get bored. Don't get bored. Don't get bored. So,
got to be constantly vigilant. So with that being said, we've broken the ice. Let's do a little transition.
Yeah. All right, so starting out with today's quote is by James Riley. He's an author. Actually, he did like a lot of poetry and like children's books and poetry. Okay. Anyways, I was reading about him briefly, but he says the most essential factor is persistence, the determination never to allow your energy or enthusiasm to be dampened by the discouragement that must inevitably come. Yes.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Discouragement's coming. You might as well learn to deal with it.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And just know that you have to keep going, even though, it is going to come your way.
All right. So, title of the show, Quit Getting Bored. What we mean by that is we don't want you to change what you're doing if you get bored. I mean, this is the punchline. So keep doing what you're doing. Just change your emotional state about it. If you were crazy wired like Jenny and I, don't change the channel just because you can't find something. Just because there's commercials on right now does not mean there's not something good to watch on TV.
Right.
Like, don't change the channel at the wrong time. Otherwise, you're going to miss the ending of the story, or you're not going to achieve your goal. So, we do this all the time. I'll give you a quick story. So, like I said, we're sick of cutting boards. We're sick of making them. We're sick of selling them. We're sick of packaging and shipping them. But we haven't done them for that long. The first fulfillment that we ever did, I think, was in like February or March.
Yeah, I think it was February
or March.
Late January, early
So
February.
it's been maybe 7 months, right?
Yeah.
It's September, beginning of September now.
February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
Like
so 7 months. Yeah.
7 months we've been doing this, and we're already sick of it. We're making money. We're about to move into commercial space.
I know. How crazy is
we're
that?
Like, we're not hurting ourselves. Like, we've got a good process. Our hair's not on fire. We're about to hire some employees. Like, it's been a wonderful experience for us, but we're bored. And so our brains are trying to do everything. Guys, this week we have talked about maybe 4 or 5 other products we want to start building.
Right.
And we've got to slow it. We catch each other in the conversation. Like, hey, stop. We're doing fine with cutting boards. Why are you trying to do more? Mm-hmm. Not that doing more is bad. It's just our goal right now is to get enough cutting boards sales moving that we can scale and build on top of that, but we keep wanting to go to the next thing and develop new products and sell something new and shiny.
We just have to stick to the plan, I guess, a little bit.
That's why we chose that song as our outro song, the stick to the plan.
Yeah, have you ever watched the end of our YouTube videos?
No, nobody ever does that.
You should one time, because there's a song at the end, and there's a reason we put it at the end of like almost every single video, is because it literally just repeats "stick to the plan," because we're so bad at just sticking to the plan. And I think it was either last podcast or like 2 podcasts ago, we were talking about how you have to like trust your past self when you've planned something out and you're in a good emotional state, and you're like, hey, this is a good idea. This is what we're going to go with. Here's my plan.
Yep.
Well, then, 7 months later, you look back at that plan and you're like, well, I'm bored now. Maybe this plan isn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't thinking straight when I thought of this plan. I didn't have this information when I made this plan, so now it's null and void. Now I have to think of a new one. Not the case. You have to trust your past self when you had a good plan. You're just getting impatient. And don't throw it out completely.
Yeah. So by our definitions in the context we're talking about, there's different types of boredom, but the boredom we're talking about is the boredom that is a result of you being impatient. Because if you get bored, then you start to get impatient, or you realize that you're impatient. And if you're impatient, it means you're easily distracted.
Yes.
If you've set a goal like Jennie was talking about, let's say 6 months ago you decided you wanted to lose, I don't know, 50 pounds or whatever your goal is. And all of a sudden you get bored, you get tired of going to the gym, you're not seeing as many results, or even you just get used to the results you see of losing weight. And after that first, I've never lost weight, by the way. Just putting that out there. That's not experience I have. I have the most respect. I think there are very few things I have more respect for of people's character than somebody who has lost a massive amount of weight.
Because it takes persistence, and that's something that we don't naturally have.
The discipline and persistence required to do that is just absolutely huge. And I do not have it in me.
It is so impressive.
It's really impressive to me. So, anyway, all I'm trying to say is, like, if your goal is to lose 50 pounds, sorry about that rabbit hole. I got bored and distracted. See, I can't stop doing it. I can't, no matter what I do. I'm sitting here trying to teach how to stop doing it. And I'm doing it while I'm teaching, not doing it. How meta is that?
So meta.
So if you're impatient, that means you're easily distracted. And you're going to look at every quote unquote opportunity that presents itself to you. And you're going to think, oh, I could do this. Or, oh, this might be better than that. Or, oh, it's just all of like this fear of like you're going to miss out on the best thing, whatever the best thing is.
Yeah.
You just get bored of it and you think, oh, this might be better than that. So you get the other thing, or you get distracted.
The grass is always greener. And
grass is always greener. Yeah.
There will always be greener grass for the rest of your life.
But if you keep chasing different distractions for 6 months at a time or a year at a time, if you keep changing the channel, you will never build. Success is stacked. It is not piled. You have to do, as excruciating as it is, you have to do the same thing for several years in a row before you will have any appreciable amount of success that you can build on top of that. So if you're trying to be a better person, you're trying to change your values, you're trying to discover who you are, if you're trying to lose some weight, if you're trying to get a better job, it will take you years to actualize all of the things that you are looking for. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, we shouldn't choose small goals. You shouldn't want small, not that you don't have like smaller goals you're trying to achieve, but like you should be so hungry to achieve. This is going to be a future podcast episode, just saying.
Okay.
There's a difference between complaining about what you have and wanting better.
Yeah.
You've got to be the kind of person that always wants better. Now, you got to be appreciative of what you have. You can't let that go unhinged, but you should want big goals. Pickles. You should want, to do amazing, cool things. And if you don't, then there's something wrong there, and you got to go in and figure out why not,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, absolutely. Chasing distractions will just take you away from those goals.
Yeah. And what's the quote that we were saying a while ago? It was like every opportunity or every distraction looks like an opportunity if you're not focused
on your goals. Yeah, I forget who said that, but yeah, opportunities look like distractions look like opportunities if you're not focused on your goal.
And it really is. We've had several times where we've been in a conversation where like, well, cutting boards are great, but like, oh my gosh, it looks like we have demand for, stovetop covers or some other like random product. And we're like, this might be a really good opportunity. And then we have to stop. And we're like, is it really an opportunity, or would this be more of a distraction? Do we just need to put our heads down and keep like...
Right. Are you just tired of getting told no for cutting boards? You'd rather be told no for
right.
something new.
The thing is like, that's what gets us every time is even if we switch, you're going to experience the same thing that made you bored with what you're currently in.
Yep.
Let's say, we get bored of packaging cutting boards. You're going to get bored of packaging whatever else you make next.
Yep.
Give it 6 months.
When I started a web design business, I was terrified of sales, and I closed the business down because I didn't like what the customer wanted. I didn't want to play with the customers. I just wanted to build the websites and take the money, but you got to deal with the customer. And so I quit that business, stopped doing that. And then we started this furniture business. And then all of a sudden I realized like, oh no, my fear is back. I didn't actually run away from it. It's still there no matter what business I start. And at that point I realized that my skill set is best suited towards entrepreneurship at some level. I think it's higher up the chain than just the technician. But I was realizing I'm not actually ever going to outrun this fear of sales. So I dug in, I checked out all the sales books from the local library, and I read them all, and I just conquered that fear. And I realized that what I was bored with in my web design business was what I needed to just buck up and learn. So anyway, yeah, you can't get distracted.
Yes.
because your distractions are, or whatever you're running from is always going to be chasing you.
Yes.
So
And you're just running in a circle, like a dog chasing its tail.
Yep. So
it's just embarrassing. Sometimes it's cute, but usually not.
Yeah. I mean, this is an action-filled podcast episode. We're only 20 minutes in. We're jumping to the action steps. We got a little bit more to talk about here. So first action step. Let's say I dunged too early. I'll ding again. Let's say.
What is the past tense of ding?
Dunged.
Ding.
I dunged the bell too soon.
Anyways.
So let's say you're going through this. Let's say you're bored with something. You know that you probably just need to stick with it, have a little persistence. It sucks, it hurts, but you just need to stay there for a little bit longer. The number one thing that we've done to change our emotional state when we're bored, first of all, you got to catch yourself. That's the hard part. Once you start catching yourself, this is what you do. So I can't help you with catching yourself. We're still struggling with that.
Well, I mean, we could kind of help, like finding community. If you can't catch, sometimes it's hard to catch yourself, and so you need somebody else to help catch you. That's why we have friends. That's why we like being close to family, why we have spouses, different areas you find community, clubs, churches, whatever it may be. Because you can have somebody who can, help catch you, because it's hard to do. Yeah,
so that can help. You got to be willing to listen to them. That's a huge piece of that. You can't argue with them every time they say, "Hey, you're doing that thing again." No, I'm not. So
you just did it. No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm saying that because we're both those kind of people.
We are.
But yeah, once you start to catch yourself, and it's only going to happen once a week, maybe at the start. You'll get better at this as you do it more. Just be patient, be persistent with it. Once you catch yourself, immediately say, "Okay, I'm doing that thing where I get bored, or I'm trying to change the channel. I don't need to change the channel. I need to be grateful for what I have." Mm-hmm. So look at your bank account. Look at your number of sales. Look at, if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, look at what you're having success with and be grateful for it. When I get mad that we aren't in a commercial space yet, I say, you know what? I'm getting things done in the shop. Is it perfect? No. Is it ideal? No. Would a commercial space be a lot easier, faster, more efficient? Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. But I got to be grateful for what I have. I have all these tools. I've been able to afford it.
We have a 2-car garage, not a 1-car garage.
We know enough people that want to buy enough furniture from us that we have a sustainable business that's growing. So we just need to be more appreciative of that and be grateful. And immediately I quit getting bored. It doesn't solve the problem, make it go away, but my emotional state is at least more balanced there. And I can move forward just trying to get the thing done. So that's the main thing. And then, so that number one, I dung too late now. Be grateful, count your blessings when you realize you're getting bored after you've caught yourself. Just be grateful. The next one, I'll ding appropriately here. Outsource. So, if it's possible for you, if you're trying to lose weight, you can't outsource your workouts. Sorry.
I wish that's how it worked.
It's like the whipping boy. Like, I don't know, back in the day, I don't know. I had to read this book when I was in elementary school. I don't know why I'm word vomiting this now, but like there was this whole story about like the king's son, or the prince or whatever, and he wouldn't get spanked, but he would have a whipping boy. And every time he got in trouble, they would spank the whipping boy or whip the whipping boy instead of the prince. You never heard of this concept?
No.
Yeah. So it was like, that's what the whole, I don't even remember what the book was about. I just remember that was the premise. I was like, that's really stupid. The parents actually think that works. Like, which it would probably work on you.
Because I'd feel bad for the
now
other
that
person.
I know that there's people that aren't all self-centered and selfish like me, that would probably work on certain types of people.
Interesting.
To punish others for your mistakes. But that would not work on me. I'd just laugh at the other kid and be like, that sucks.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so outsource whatever you can. I'm getting distracted and bored with this podcast. Outsource whatever you can. So, for example, we're sick of cutting boards. Now, we're still responsible for the business to do cutting boards. That's our goal. That's what we've set out to do. So our business has to do cutting boards. Now, I can outsource the fulfillment. I can outsource making the boards. I can outsource selling the boards. So you're still responsible for it, but if there's the ability to outsource it, just outsource it. Then you can spend your time, effort, and energy on other things.
But until then, you just got to put in the work.
Right. Yeah. You just got to, like at the beginning, if you don't have the money yet or anything to hire anybody, then you just got to suffer and figure it out. Find the easiest way to do it. Use that more motivation of boredom to try and optimize it even further. Look at the beauty of it. So just look at the beauty of the repetitive nature of whatever it is you're trying to doing. Like, appreciate the fact that you don't have to learn anything new. You've got a process and it's working. You just got to keep pushing into it. It's a huge mental relief. Yeah. Like, I love problem solving, but man, if the problem is never going to be solved, what's the point?
Right.
So be happy that you've narrowed things down to a point where it's so easy, and all you got to do is pull a lever and you can pop a cutting board out on the other end. Just talking to myself.
I wish that's how it worked.
I know. But yeah, basically outsource what you are sick of doing yourself if you're able. And the third action step, Jenny.
Blow off steam once a week.
You got to wait for that. You can't talk over the ding.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got to hesitate. So, number 3.
Blow off steam once a week with something new that doesn't take time away from the boring part of achieving your goal. So it's like, allow yourself to do something new and fun and different and not boring, but in a way that doesn't relate or distract from like what you need to just be pressing into. So for us, we're like bored of fulfilling and doing so many cutting boards. So when we do something new, it's not going to be in the area of like cutting boards. We're like, oh, let's take a break. Let's figure out a new way to do cutting boards. No, we're going to say,
we go rock climbing.
Yeah, let's take a break and let's go rock climbing, or let's take a break and let's go on a walk, or something completely unrelated.
Get a hobby. Yep.
Yeah.
Do something totally unrelated. Otherwise, you are going to mess it up by trying to change the channel. Yeah. So that's our suggestion, is go rock climbing.
Yes. Specifically rock climbing.
But just always be growing, always be learning, but just do it in a different time of the day than you do whatever it is that you work on your goals. Blow off that creative steam and that, I call it the wiggles. Get the wiggles out of you.
Yeah.
And then that way you can sit still and focus on whatever your goal is at the appropriate time, and you can get your creative or I need something new and shiny energy out at a more appropriate time. Otherwise, you're going to wreck it.
Yep.
So, that was a lot.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because we haven't done a podcast in
I think it's because
we
haven't done one in a while, and it's convicting. Like we just need, we constently need to work on patience and persistence.
That's why I'm so tired, is because I've had to talk about boredom for 30 minutes, and I said all I wanted to say about boredom, and I had to keep talking about it. So I kept chasing.
I don't like
rabbits.
talking about it.
Right. So, oh man.
But announcements. We still have our hurricane fundraiser t-shirts out. I'm wearing it this year's in the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. It looks just like last year's.
It's a much better shirt than last year.
Yes, it's a better quality shirt. It says 2021 on the bottom instead of 2020, and it's a nice like deep blue color. Last year's was gray.
It looks really nice.
So the link to purchase one is in the show notes, and all of the proceeds from those shirts go toward supporting hurricane disaster relief.
Yep. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.